IG. Get the lighting halfway decent in here. Facebook. Mr. Will Roundtree. J Morrison Academy page. What is going on? It is my favorite day of the week. Friday. FICO Friday. Well, every day feel like Friday. So every day my favorite day of the week. Tavon. What's going on, brother? King Malik. Fat Word. Plant Threads. Queen Kiki. What's going on, family? Peace, peace. Give up the goods. I try to go in today. King Just, what's going on? Craig, I see you out there, brother. All right, family. So today, Ms. Sumter, what is going on? So today is Friday, FICO Friday. Again, I will be panning between the different screens. We got the Facebook page, welcome. We got Mr. Will Roundtree IG page. And then, of course, we have J Morrison Academy page. King Real, what's going on with you? Hey, what's going on, Rhoda? Family, how are you doing? Peace, peace. What's going on, family? All right, so today we are talking about on FICO Friday. Tommy, what's going on? Let me hold some, Tommy. You done took all the money from the banks. I went to the bank. They said, Brother Tommy just left with the Brinks truck. So today, like I said, today's topic on FICO Friday, we're going to talk about your credit score will not get you funded. Everybody think it's about just having a good credit score, but it is so much more than that. So, but before I hop in, for those who do not know me, my name is Will Roundtree, your credit mastery instructor at the J Morrison Academy. Now, our RBC curriculum, part of the Big Three, with myself and my brother, King Jay and King Isaac. If you have not signed up for the RBC, which stands for Real Estate, Business, and Credit, you cheating yourself. I'm telling you. Everybody always want to know what's the secret to creating success. Learning more information, learning new information. You have to learn the information. Little bro, what's going on? And so the RBC curriculum, it gives you everything you need to know. The R standing for real estate. Real estate is probably the quickest path to creating long-term wealth. And the reason I always stress long-term is because it's not an overnight success. You have to, true wealth is built slowly. The B, which stands for business. You know, I meet with a lot of clients on a one-on-one basis, and I tell them, anybody can go out there and open up a business, but are you truly learning business? And that's where a lot of people usually miss the success gap or the success hump or the success wave, because we're not learning business. We need to understand business, and those are some of the things that I try to dive in with my one-on-one coaching clients, because, you know, by not understanding business, I mean, you can be a great chef, but that doesn't mean you're going to run a successful business. You just make good food, but it's a lot of people that make great food. So what's going to make you stand out amongst, you know, your peers? And so that's why we need to understand business. Even from a real estate investing standpoint, it's a lot of people that do real estate, but real estate is a business, especially from an investor side. Or why would somebody want to do business with you? And so all of these things are things that I always talk about. And then, of course, the credit. The credit is the foundation to all of that. The credit is the glue. The credit is going to help you get the money. The credit is going to help you, you know, get to those next levels, because I'm telling you, it's no other opportunities out there that will allow you to be able to create something from nothing. And credit allows you to be able to do that. Lavi, what's going on, Queen? And so by being able to leverage your credit, I mean, you literally cannot have a job, leverage your credit, get some capital, and go invest in real estate, invest in a luxury car rental line, invest into a restaurant, whatever it is you choose to invest in. But it all starts with credit and understanding credit, which is why I, you know, appropriately named the topic for today. Your credit score is not going to get you funded. And the reason I want to say that is because I get so many people that reach out to me on a daily basis. They send me screenshots, DMs. Hey, King, I got a 750 credit score. What can I get? I have a 820 credit score. What can I get? I have a 680. I just made it. What can I get? And I always tell people, like, yo, the banks don't care about your credit score. Now, the credit score matters, The credit score definitely matters, but it doesn't matter from a standpoint of the way we think it does. And this is across multiple different, financing, strategies or whatever we want to call it. So let's just take something as simple as trying to purchase a vehicle, because a lot of times people are wanting to buy a vehicle, and it's no harm in that, and it's nothing wrong with that. So you can have a 700 plus credit score. You go to try to purchase an automobile. Did you know if you are a first-time automobile purchaser, you are capped at what or how much you can qualify for that auto loan? You possibly may even need a cosigner, especially if the dollar amount is over the threshold of what they will allow you to qualify for. Meaning, you can be, and this isn't even just for someone who's just turning 18, 19, or 20. If you're 30 plus or 40 years old and never financed an automobile, and you have a 700 plus credit score, most of the time the banks will cap you at about 25,000. It may go to 25 to 30, but depending on the bank and the institution, they're going to cap you. And so a lot of times I get people, they may have a good credit score, never financed a vehicle, have amassed some success, and they want to go buy a luxury vehicle, which again, I don't think it's anything wrong with that. I like luxury vehicles myself. And so you go to the dealership and you come back and say, you need a cosigner, Will. And I bring this up because I've actually had a couple clients that's went through this. They could not understand, okay, I have great credit. Why can I not? Why are they asking me for a cosigner? And again, that's because some banks are going to cap you on what you qualify for because you've never been approved or had responsibility for making a payment over a certain dollar amount. And so understand that credit is about when banks are looking at lending you money, whether it's for a secured asset such as a home or an auto loan, or even unsecured such as credit cards and lines of credit, they do everything based off of risk. That is why your credit profile is so important. Meaning, if they've never seen you finance a $10,000 auto loan, why would they give you a $40,000 auto loan? Plus, also your debt to income ratio will also play a major role in that. See, a lot of times we just think, my 700 or my 800, like that means nothing to the banks. Because if your DTI is too high, along with being a first-time auto loan borrower, they're going to look and say, okay, this person doesn't have enough discretionary income to be able to make a $500 payment. This person is making $30,000 a year, but their expenses is $28,000 a year. Why would we give them a $500 payment? So again, even though the DTI does not reflect from a line item on a credit report, the banks have internal systems that they use to when they're plugging in your information to determine what they're going to approve you for. So that's why that is extremely important. Same thing with the risk index. Yeah, definitely. That's the same thing even when you're purchasing a home. They're going to take your income, take your debts. You can have a 720. Yeah, you'll get a good interest rate, but the amount that you'll be approved for is going to be, determined based upon your DTI, which again is not something that we go in thinking about. We just assume, hey, I have a job, I have good credit, have no late payments, no collections, this bank should approve me. And that's not the case. So we have to understand the bank don't care about your credit score. It's about the credit profile. And so when you understand that, now you can go into whatever it is you're trying to be approved for with a different mindset, understanding that it's not personal, And I always say that because I get so many people that come to me and they get emotional because they got a denial or gotta have a cosigner, and it's just they just don't know enough information. And so that's why I always say what separates the successful from unsuccessful, wealthy from the non-wealthy is information. And so I want to give us this information so we can no longer go into situations and scenarios with the level of not knowing or looking like amateurs. When you go into the banks, I want you to be well equipped. You should be briefing and educating the branch manager because half the time they know very little about credit. So that's one facet when you're trying to purchase an auto loan. So now let's talk about in relation to what easy funding. And I hope everyone who is a business owner, an entrepreneur, aspiring business owner, aspiring entrepreneur, want to run a big company or all that stuff, if you're not or have not signed up and gotten funding for your business, you're doing yourself a disservice. You know, people hit me up all the time. Hey, I'm trying to fund this property. I'm trying to fund this. What should I do? Sign up for easy funding. Like, I'm not going to try to convince you to do anything else, because what are your other options? When people come up to me, I always say, what are your other options to get money cheaper? You're going to go to Cabbage, where the interest rate is up to 280%. You're going to go to Fundbox, where the average interest rate is 30 to 78%. You're going to do a merchant loan account. I mean, these are payday loans for your business. You know, what you're going to use? PayPal funds, which no knock against it, but the interest rate is high on that too. You know, so your only option from a business where you've made no money as a business are to use these short-term lending opportunities, and no knock against them, because it may be a situation where it makes sense to go through one of those products. But if you didn't know, borrowing $30,000 from Cabbage, where you have to pay back in 12 months, your payments are like $7,000 a month. That will knock a business out. Yeah, and SBA is a joke. You know, it's a very long process, and less than 2% of businesses get approved. So I believe in taking the path of least resistance. Can you get easy funding on a new LLC? Yes, you can. Do you recommend down payments? I'm not sure what you mean by that, organic brown sugar. Please explain. Yeah, easy funding is the easiest way. I'm telling you. I mean, I funded every single last one of my real estate deals, never using a dime out of my own pocket. We used the bank's money every single time. You know, I've invested multiple businesses without using a dime of my own pocket. We've helped many of our clients invest in real estate and never use their own money. Had a client come to us and say, King, we have $100,000 in the bank. I said, great. I want to try to help you keep that $100,000 in the bank. Helped them get some capital, bought their first investment property without ever having to touch the $100,000. I said, we want to keep the cash for in case of emergency break glass situation. We want to leverage the bank's money. Okay. And so now the strategies on how to buy real estate or invest in all of that by going through easy funding. Of course, that's where, you know, mentorship is going to come in at. But the strategies of what you can use the capital for are endless. And that's one of the dope things about our easy funding. What's the minimum credit score required? Queen Evelyn, it's not just about the credit score, but I can tell you banks want you to have at least a 680. But that's what the topic of this FICO Friday about. The bank do not care about your credit score. They care about the credit profile, because again, someone having a 780, I just had this happen the other day. Matter of fact, today I was talking with the king. He was telling me he sent one of his credit partners to the bank, had a 780 credit score, and she got denied for everything she applied for. Actually went on the application binge, applied for about 10 different applications and got denied every last one of them. Because again, the banks, they have certain metrics that they're looking for. They don't care about your 780. They don't care about your 830. None of that stuff. I've actually had people with a 690 get more money than people with an 810 because the 690 file is more dense. What does a dense credit file look like? So they're going to look at age of file. Meaning you can have a 780 credit score but only have one trade line that is, 3 months old. Why would a bank give you $50,000 line of credit and the most credit you have is a $300 secure credit card that you just opened 3 months ago? So again, these are the different things that banks are looking for. In credit inquiries, if you have more than 7 credit inquiries on your entire profile, the banks deem 7 or more to be considered excessive. So you want to make sure you get your credit inquiries cleaned up. And yes, you can clean up your inquiries. We do it all the time for our clients, especially when they're going for multiple rounds of funding. Late payments and collections, your high limit credit cards. They look at what is your highest limit credit card. If all you have is a $300 secured card with Capital One, no bank is going to give you a $25,000 business credit card or even a personal credit card, because they're assessing risk. Or they also look to see how much have you used with your high limit cards that you may have. Meaning, if you have a high limit credit card of $10,000, but the most you've ever used was $100, that is also a metric that they measure you on to say, hey, this person doesn't use the credit they have. Why should we give them more? So again, Understanding it's not just about your credit score. The bank don't care about your credit score. They care about the credit file, the density of the credit file, what information is in a credit profile, and then also understanding that there are things that will flag your application, like having old addresses, and I mean, there's so many different things. So, does trade lines marked as a hard inquiry? No, they do not. Is an online business considered a business you can get funded for? As long as you have an EIN and it's an actual business entity, yes. It doesn't matter the type of business or the industry. Now, one other thing too, and this is something not necessarily tied into your credit. The banks don't care about your credit score, but understanding that the name of your LLC can also make a difference. Meaning, having real estate in the title. Did you know having real estate in your company name can actually prevent you from a bank opening up a business bank account for you? Especially if that bank stays away from real estate investment companies. Just had that happen today. Had a client who had real estate in their name, went against the information that I tried to recommend, went to the bank. The bank would not open up that business bank account for them because they had real estate in the title. So again, these are things that we need to start equipping ourselves with. Now, it doesn't mean you can't operate as a real estate investment company, but keep in mind, the reason you want to have a company name that matches the company that you're doing business as, because when somebody cuts you a check, you need to be able to deposit it. Remember, we're operating as businesses, as professionals, as entrepreneurs, as CEOs. Nobody's going to give you cash. So if we're doing business together and I'm doing a real estate transaction or whatever, and I cut you a check and your company does not have a business bank account, this is another reason why we tell you guys to get a business bank account, because you want to be able to, one, be professional. If you go and someone says, okay, I'm going to be an investor and I'm going to cut you a check in your business name, and you say, oh, I don't have a business bank account, you just lost all credibility. So again, we tell you to have these things in place, not just because we want you to have an additional bank account or whatever the case is. These are the things, one, that's going to have you look head and shoulders amongst the unprofessionals, because there's a lot of unprofessionals in the space. But two, people do business with you based upon how they're going to perceive you. And so understanding that if you don't look professional, if you don't look even professional on paper, you run the risk of people not wanting to do business with you. And understand that in especially in the business realm, it's like a fraternity. And one person may not want to do business with you, and the next thing you know, it's at a networking meeting and saying, oh, you know what, I don't want to do business with so-and-so. He or she wasn't prepared. They're not professional. They tried to have me cut them a check and they don't even have a business bank account. Like, that type of news travels. So we need to, always be prepared. Always be properly positioned. Always make sure we're prepared, okay? How do you enroll in the Easy Funding program? You can actually go to our website, www.useeasyfunding.com. Hopefully I spelled it correctly. All right. Yes, high risk, especially if you're a brand new company. That is completely correct. If you, DZ813, if someone came to you with $50K in the bank, what's the first thing you would tell them to do? It depends on what their goals are. I mean, having $50,000 in the bank, I mean, you can go through $50,000 very quickly. So it really just going to depend on what it is that they're trying to do or what they want to accomplish. The website, King Justice just posted the website, useeasyfunding.com. All right. Credit cards on brand new LLCs. Yes, you can get credit cards on brand new LLCs. Absolutely. How do I schedule a consultation? Send me a DM and I'll have my team reach out to you. All right. How do the banks look at the lines of credit versus credit cards? I don't have any credit cards. So the banks, it depends on a couple of different things. One, if your company is not 2 years old, it is almost impossible to get a business line of credit. Now you can get a personal line of credit, and the way the banks do the personal lines of credit now, they are turning those into overdraft accounts. Meaning if you have a business, if you have a checking account with them personally, they'll give you an overdraft account, which means you can withdraw up to that dollar amount. Now, there was one bank that used to let you do business lines of credit for companies that were 2 years or less, which they stopped, which was Navy Federal. Navy Federal no longer, well, you can still apply, but they're going to ask for your blood samples now and hair strands. Like, I mean, they've made it extremely difficult. They want tax returns, documents, P&Ls, balance sheets. They want a business plan. Like, they are asking for a lot of different things. So, can I bring a seasoned corp? CEO minded? Yes, very good question. Or can you buy a seasoned corp? You can, but you have to understand that when you buy a seasoned corp, if it doesn't have the original EIN number, what some banks do is they go based upon the age of the EIN number. So if you have to get a new EIN number, you just wasted money on that seasoned corp. Okay, so you want to be careful about that. I would like a consultation. Yes, so send an email over to the team or send a DM, and then we can have someone reach out to you regarding a consultation. Can you get funding on a new business? Yes, yes, yes. You can get funding on a new business. Remember, there's 2 different types of funding you can get. Well, really 3, but we'll talk about the main 2. You can get credit cards or you can get business lines of credit. As long as your company is at least 2 years old, you can get both. Anything 2 years or less, you can only get credit cards. What is the Easy Funding minimum credit score requirement that they require? Go to useeasyfunding.com and it will have all of that on there. But again, it's not just about the credit score. That's the topic of this live. The banks do not care about your 780. They want to see what that credit file look like. King Anwar, what's going on? 640, that is not true. That is not true. And again, it's not just about the credit score. They care about the credit profile. What is the interest rate and how fast do you got to pay them back on the loans? So when you get unsecured capital, they are not loans. Understand, it's a difference between having a loan and having a revolving line of credit. When you have a loan, yes, you have to start paying that back right away. Revolving credit, you pay it as you use it. Now, the interest rates, anytime you're getting a loan, of course, typically is going to be a fixed rate. Anytime you're getting revolving credit, is going to vary. I always tell people that when you are using and utilizing revolving credit, that the interest rate is still going to be the cheapest when you are using revolving capital. Okay, when you are using revolving capital, the interest rates are going to be the cheapest because one, if you're utilizing interest rates, really only affect you if you're only making minimum payments forever. So when people always saying, well, 17% is high, and I'm like, compared to what? What other options are there? You know, like I say, go try using cabbage where it's 80%. So it's really not as high as people think it is. So yeah, on the website, it does say 640, but again, that's just one of the prerequisites. What I'm really trying to get people to understand that it's so much bigger than just a credit score, because again, you can have a 780 and still not qualify. And so I'm really just trying to get people to understand it's about a credit profile and not just a score. We just get so fixated on the score. The score is just one metric, but definitely appreciate pointing that out, King Darren. All right, what's the main piece of advice you will give someone who wants to aspire to be a credit and business expert? I would say definitely just go out there and just educate people. You know, people want to know that you know what you're talking about. You know, that's what I would really focus on. And knowing that you care. One thing I learned about business, people don't care about how much you know until they know how much you care. And if they could see you genuinely out here just trying to service the people, you know, that's when people buy into you. And that's one of the things I tell people no matter what industry you're in. You know, if you're a mechanic, yeah, there's a million mechanics. But if you don't let people know that you genuinely care about wanting to service their vehicle and educate them on why they need to change their oil every 3,000 to 5,000 miles, like all that, then people would not necessarily want to vibe with you. So, Queen Audrey, yes, I want to do a podcast, but I'm technology illiterate. So somebody who knows how to do podcasts, let's link up. I definitely want to make this into a podcast, but I don't know how to do that type of stuff. I ain't gonna even front. All right. I have to get a car loan. No other choice. The rate is 21%. How long will it take before I have to wait to refinance? You can refinance immediately. You just have to go to another bank. So if you have to get a car at 21%, but understand that you already have a plan to fix your credit to come back to refinance, then definitely go back and do what you have to do. All right. Anchor for podcasts. Yeah, somebody hit me up. Let's set it up. All right. King Michael, what's going on, man? Yes, I want to do the podcast. Trust me, I want to. Can you get a company car on a new LLC? It's very difficult to get approved solely under the company. Now, some banks will let you do an equipment line of credit or an equipment loan that you can use and go and purchase a vehicle. But typically, remember, or for those who don't know, when you purchase a vehicle through your company, the interest rate is going to be higher and the insurance is going to be higher. So sometimes you got to be careful what you wish for, so just understand that you definitely can do that. All right. If someone had 50K and lower than a 640 score, but wanted to maximize the potential earning on that money, what would you recommend? DS 813. That would be something we would have to sit down and figure out what your strategy is. How long can you have the money out there for? I mean, there's so many different variables and nuances and all of that good stuff before I could really just go in and say, all right, yes, trust me, I had to put my first company vehicle in my personal name. Yes. All right, equipment loan. Yes, equipment loans, the interest rates are as high as 9 to 12%. So if you're going to buy that vehicle, just be prepared to know you will spend a little bit more money. If I open a new credit card, will it lower my credit history? Potentially. It definitely, opening a new account can always potentially lower your credit history, especially if you have a thin credit file. All right. How would you word a trucking company so it isn't considered high risk? Very good question. I would call myself a delivery service or courier service or something. I would, and it doesn't necessarily even have to have trucking, but maybe like, Roundtree courier service or something. I don't know. But yeah, trucking, mainly transportation is high risk. So you want to, find out those nuances and variables. But very good question. What's the difference between sending out regular mail to credit bureaus versus certified mail? You make sure that they get it, because a lot of times they don't like to put stuff in dispute. King Tyrone, what's up with you, man? On a new LLC, would the average credit card limit be? It depends on what you have currently reporting. Yes, logistics is another one. Transport, that's another good name for the title. But yeah, your average credit limit is going to be depending on what you currently already have is high limits. This is where we logistics. I like that. Let's go ahead and secure that. Depending on what your high limits are. So if your highest limit credit card is $500, you probably aren't going to get like a $10,000 limit. So those are some of the things to keep an eye out for. I need to get more business credit. How can I do that? Sign up for Easy Funding. We'll help you get it. All right. I have had my car for a year, been paying on it for a year. I just started credit repair back in June. And how raise my credit score? How long should I wait before I refinance? It depends. If your credit score is increased, you want to go and shop around to banks. I typically like to go and finance through credit unions. Credit unions typically are going to give you a better rate. What are all the documents needed when filing a dispute? Not sure what type of dispute you're talking about. Is it a credit dispute? Or are you trying to get a charge back on somebody you paid? So yeah, please clarify that. Do the loan amount vary from state to state? Not sure exactly what you're talking. Oh, with Easy Funding, the loan amount can vary depending on what's on your credit, the age of your company, if your company has any money, your DTI. There's so many different things. I have a 10-year-old debt that I can't get off my credit. I just do one-time settlement. It depends on what type of debt it is and who the creditor is. And if it's been on the report 10 years, it is not supposed to be unless you live in a state where they can continually report that debt. Or depending on if the debt is still within the statute of limitations. So that's something you want to definitely look into. Should I start 2 LLCs right away? If it's in your budget, absolutely. Do paid off vehicles present negative? Very good question. Paying off an auto loan, especially if the rest of your credit profile is thin, could drop your credit score. But that's something that, you may want to consider. Yeah, King Darren, thank you. Why you shouldn't pay collectors? They will try to jerk you. Could I use Easy Funding to convert my basement into an Airbnb or rental? Yes, you can. Absolutely. Get that rental income. All right. What would be more helpful to my brother's credit? To add him to my highest credit card limit versus the longest history card? If both of them are in good standings, add them to both. I'm ready to sign up for one-on-one coaching, but couldn't get a hold of anyone. What number should I call? Send me a message and I'll get you in touch with our team over at the offices. All right. If we open a business account, how much money do we need to have in the account? Whatever the bank minimum. You don't have to put a ton of money in there unless that's going to be one of your main accounts. Do I pay taxes on money I'm funded? Absolutely not. Funding is not income. Funding is not income. Think of using a DBA investments instead of REI in my LLC. Is that a better option? You can definitely use a DBA. You definitely can. All right. Need coaching. The lovely Rose 30. Okay. Let's get going. All right. How should you increase your credit profile? It depends on what's going on with your credit currently. It depends on what is going on with your credit currently. Please explain easy funding. Nurse Flores Lopez. The website useeasyfunding.com, but that is where we help small and medium-sized businesses get access to capital. I'll go ahead and at least type the link in the chat so you can go and check it out. And hopefully we will be working with you soon so you can get access to the bank's money. We no longer use our own money for anything. Bank money, everything. All right. Let me see if I can pin this. There we go. All right, perfect. What's the difference between Weed Management and Easy Funding? Nothing. We own them both. It's just the market. So transport or logistics is fine for clarification. Yes. Pin that website to the chat. All right. Let me try to pin it on this on Mr. Will Roundtree page. Thank you for reminding me. I need a new local videographer in Las Vegas. Somebody who know a dope videographer in Vegas, please send them my way. Please, please, please. My last videographer moved, and I'm picky about trying to find somebody else. All right, let me try to pin this comment. All right, perfect. Best way to purchase a vehicle using easy funding. I don't know if I would use my funding to purchase a vehicle unless I'm trying to get a tractor trailer or something like that where it's going to make me some money. I'm not using my funding to buy a vehicle just to drive around in. All right. Which is better to banks when naming LLC, consulting or marketing type? That part doesn't matter to the banks. They're looking at the name of high-risk companies that they don't want to do business with. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Creative Things. Yeah, if you are a videographer, let me know. All right, let me see. What else? Who else we got? Yes, that's right. Assets first. Assets first. And trust me, you can buy vehicles. Now, if you are starting like a car rental line or something like that, and you want to use your funding and your vehicles are going to make money for you, I'm all for that. You know, but as far as just buying vehicles to buy them, I wouldn't do that. All right. What is the purpose of the FICO score if it doesn't matter to the banks? It's not that it doesn't matter. It's the fact that there's more than just having the score. Because keep in mind, it also depends on what it is you're trying to apply for. So meaning, if you have, again, just having a high score, you can have a 700 credit score by just having just being an authorized user on somebody's credit. But that doesn't show the bank that you're credit worthy. So they want to see what your credit profile looks like. This is why I always talk about the credit profile and not just the score. The banks look at the credit profile. Thank you for the YouTube videos. You're welcome. Definitely. Make sure you go out and subscribe if you have not done so. Trying to get my 4th and 5th round. Can't get over 130K 2 years after my first easy funding. Reach out to me. Let's see what we can do so I can help you. All right. I want to help you get over 130K. All right. Can I change my LLC name? Absolutely. When you do a name change, just make sure you not only change it with the Secretary of State, but also with the IRS for your EIN. Okay. What are your thoughts on personal lines of credit? I'm definitely open to personal lines of credit as long as I have a means to service the debt. So if you do get a personal line of credit, don't get it just to say, hey, I got 40,000. You want to be able to service the debt. How can I get funding without an inquiry? There's no way around that. If my highest credit card limit is 10K, would I expect the same for a new LLC? It depends. It depends. But keep in mind, remember, when you're applying for credit through your company for your funding or for funding, you're going to get multiple approvals. All right. Explain that. Car rentals sound interesting. King Kendall. Yes. So one of my businesses I have is I buy luxury vehicles and I rent them out. So I get a SUV, a couple coupes, and a couple of this. I'm renting those out. Now, every single market is maybe not as popular, but I like to use sites like Turo, meaning when someone comes to town, I even have locals who need to rent the vehicle because maybe their vehicle's in a shop. So you rent them out. They can rent them daily. I've had people rent my vehicles daily. I've had people rent my vehicles for a couple days, for a week or so, even a month. And so that's one of the things you can do. Another thing is it's a website called Hire Car. Excuse me, where people who drive Uber and Lyft, or someone who may be aspiring to drive Uber or Lyft, but they don't have a vehicle, can go to Hire Car and rent your vehicle specifically for Uber or Lyft. So again, I'm gonna use my vehicles to make money, and so that's what one can do. Do they deliver it to them? So I offer free delivery for my vehicle. So that's a selling point that some people like, because if you come to Vegas, you may not have a way to get to the vehicle, or if your car is in the shop. Somebody just rented one of my vehicles the other day. Their car was in the shop, so we delivered it to them. And so he was like, one of the main reasons I picked your vehicle is because it offered free delivery. So it really just depends. Yes. I think it's called Hire Car. I think. Don't quote me on it. I actually just learned about it the other day. Yes, Turo, Turo. Telling you, if you got a vehicle and you are trying to make some money, put it on Turo. All right. Is the word enterprise on an LLC considered high risk? No, but investments can be. All right. Queen Tamara, what are the qualifications? If you go to the website, use easyfunding.com. It will give you all of the qualifications, Queen, so you can check that out. How do I convert the Easy Fund into cash to buy properties at tax sale? You can liquidate the cards, or if you have business lines of credit, you can actually go into the bank and pull cash. All right. King, drop the link for the credit dispute template letters. Appreciate that, King Anwar. Credit is kingbook.com. Yes, if you have not done so, go to my website where my new ebooks are out. Now, the ebook are simply just dispute letters. In the credit dispute letter template elite, I have a letter to dispute public records. So if you have bankruptcies, judgments that are in public records, I have an inquiry removal letter. I have a dispute letter strictly just for medical debt. I have a cease and desist letter. I have the goodwill letter for late payments. And then, of course, I have a breakdown for all of the statute of limitations for every single state in the United States. So, yes, that ebook is only $49.99. You can go to the website, creditisKingbook.com. I do have a book called Credit is King. You can purchase it on Amazon. Yes, it's called Hire Car. Thank you, King. Thank you. All right. How do you pull cash from a business line of credit? So a business line of credit, you actually just walk into the bank and pull the cash out, or you can write checks against it. All right. How do I get credit? Queen Tamara, it depends on where you are starting from. So if that's something you want to learn more about, feel free to reach out to us and we can get you set up with a consultation. All right. Vixen level next. You need what? You need that capital. You need that credit. What's going on? So yes, CEO Mindset. There are two different ebooks. The $25 one is the essential. The $49 is the elite. So there are two. Now, of course, the elite has more info in there. Definitely. All right. What should I do about charged off student loans? Can those be disputed? Absolutely. For those who follow me on Instagram, I actually just posted a client's report She had been trying to work on her credit for like 3 or 4 years. She had a bunch of stuff on there. We got, I want to say, like 27 of the student loans removed, 25 student loans removed, which was pretty much everything that was on the report. So yes, definitely going to dispute those student loans. What about the new stamp holding? Worried them at holding would be in for Big Parker. Sorry, I don't know what you're saying. Where should I change my name on the IRS Gov? You can actually call the IRS and they'll change it for you. All right. Yes, the ebook. Let me put it in here. You can go to purchase those ebooks. Credit is king. Sorry, y'all. CreditIsKingBook.com. All right. All right. What else y'all got for me? All right. Yeah, 25 students. That was the first round. Now, not everybody is going to be that. That's why I always say results vary. But yeah, that was her first round. If I have the credit and my bros has LLC, can I get capital from his company? Yes. Have him add you on as a managing member if it's an LLC. What was that information on the tax preparer business? Pretty young and thugging. Send me a message and I'll get you in touch with someone who can help you with that, all right? Business name stamp holding. Does having holding in your name let the... No, very good question. No, having holding in your name does not disqualify you, all right? My DMB score is 80. When would you recommend that I start applying for credit cards? Queen of 6 figures. Very good question. I'm sorry to tell you this, Queen, but the banks don't care about the DMB score. The DMB is the most worthless credit score out of all the business credit bureaus. They only use your DMB to see if you're a legitimate business. So make sure that your personal credit is on point, and the DMB score is just a sprinkle on the cake. All right. What is your name so I can follow you? Will Roundtree, Honeybee Neek, at Mr. Will Roundtree on Instagram. How has the FICO 9 been affecting funding? No way whatsoever. No way whatsoever. All right. Can you also use easy funding for nonprofit businesses as well? Yes, you can, because a nonprofit is just a tax exemption. Remember, it's still either an LLC or a incorporation. If I had to get a new EIN because I changed members in LLC, the name our bank's gonna go wealth of the creation date or King. I think you got some typos in there. All right, but yeah, if you did have to get a new EIN number, that's cool. Just remember that the banks, they're not looking at you changing the EIN or anything like that, so that has no effect on it. Whatever happened to the Ultra FICO scores? Some lenders try to use it, but the Ultra FICO score really is only going to impact people with bad credit. If you don't have bad credit, it really don't impact you. All right. I'm building my credit with net 30 vendors. Is it a good idea? It's not that it's not a good idea. It's just I don't want you to put a bunch of money into building a net 30 building up net 30s because the banks aren't using those to help you get more money. Having an 80 Paydex doesn't get you more money. Drawbacks of a CPN. Banks are definitely clamping down on CPN, so I wouldn't invest a bunch of money trying to build it up. Trust me, you will be gladly disappointed or happily disappointed, or whichever one. How do you get old addresses off your credit profile? Lamont Johnson. You can dispute them or contact the bureaus and send verification with proof of your current mailing address and have them remove your old addresses, which is actually a strategy to use when you're disputing debt off your credit report. Remove those old addresses. Then it makes it harder for them to tie you to the debt. All right. Do you have a certain talk track to find credit partners for your LLC? Increase your level of influence. There's really not a certain talking point that you can have. Brooklyn 80, what's going on? That you can get people to entice them. See, one of the things I really want people to learn, and this is what I tell all my coaching clients, is that you want to. So one of my favorite books or one of my favorite genres of books I like to read is about leadership. And when you study leadership, leadership also generates influence. And so when people are naturally drawn to you, that makes it easier for you to create, opportunities for yourself. If no one buys into who you are as an individual, they're not going to buy into who you are as a business owner. And so in order to increase your level of worth, you have to increase your value in the marketplace. And so understanding leadership, like one of the laws of leadership is the law of the lid, or the law of the buy-in, meaning, can you get others to buy into your vision? Yeah, you may have a great idea, but if you can't articulate it to me to where I feel I'm going to buy into your vision, it's going to make it hard. So I always say, just show and prove first. That's the easiest way to get people to buy into your vision. Show and prove. Okay. Laverne Camp 2, you put, what is your IF? I'm going to assume you said, what is your IG? It is at Mr. Will Roundtree. At Mr. Will Roundtree. How do banks view as an authorized user account versus your own? Some banks actually don't take into account of the authorized users, but I always tell people, if you have a thin credit file, adding authorized users with good history definitely helps, and adding high limits. And if you need both, you want to add both. All right. I have a thin credit file, but I like to start a laundromat business. Can the bank assist me with funding? If you have a thin credit profile, you're definitely going to need to have some good history, and that's where authorized users could come into play. So if that's something you need assistance with, please reach out to us, okay? Can we use the dispute letters from your book? Yes, Joe Duke, that's what they're there for, King. Go out, use it, and let me know how your results come back, all right? What is the best credit card building approach to help raise one's personal credit score? It depends on what the profile looks like, but definitely is going to depend on, your high limits reporting. I mean, it's so many different things that can go into that. King Richard, yes, my favorite leadership book of all time is The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership by John Maxwell. John Maxwell has written in 1,000 books on leadership, and by the time you read the fourth one, it's the same information. He just twisted up the words. So, but very, very, very good book. Leadership 101. I mean, he has a bunch of them. Failing Forward. I mean, yeah, read a bunch of books on leadership. I definitely recommend. Is there multiple ways to try to get my bankruptcy removed? I'm working with We Management now and disputed it twice, and the courts keep acknowledging the debt that's not coming off. Understand that sometimes you have to dispute more than twice. Sometimes you have to dispute 4, 5, 6 times. Remember, we got to be patient. In business, to create success, you have to be consistently consistent. Remember, sometimes it's not going to come overnight. All right. Sometimes we just have to be a little bit patient there. All right. If I completed a conversion of a company from one state to another, do I have to create a new EIN, or does it follow me to that new state? It depends. I would definitely. So you don't necessarily even have to bring your company to the state you're residing in. Typically, the only time that business has to be in the state you reside in is if you have to have a brick and mortar. So if you're a contractor and you have to have a contracting license, your company has to be within that state. So, that's the only time that I would recommend you have to go through that. Is Lexington Law Firm a good credit company? The lovely Rose 30. I don't know. Never used them, but I can tell you, based upon the amount of clients we get who went with Lexington Law, I don't know. But I can tell you that, and this is the thing I will always say. So imagine you have some debt on your report. You have 15 accounts. What is their incentive of getting your credit cleaned up in the next 120 days, and they're charging you $50 to $100 a month? I can tell you, most people, the average person who I know that's been with Lexington Law has been with them about 18 to 24 months. So you can do the math. I'll let the people in the chat tell you if Lexington Law is good. I'll let them tell you. I'm not trying to get sued. All right. All right. Waste of time and money. Play for Keeps said that, not me. Appreciate you, King. All right. What's the difference between a business credit card and a business line of credit? A business credit card is a credit card. A business line of credit is where you can go into the bank and pull the cash out or write a check against it. King Frank, what's going on? I see you. All right. If my business turned 2 years old in April, but I bought Easy Funding now. Will I be able to get business lines in April? Yes, yes, yes. You can definitely rock with us until April. How many cars should I apply for on this first round? As many as the bank is willing to give you. I want all the bank's money. Had a coaching client hit me today, said, yo, I just found a new bank in my local area. Based off the strategies that I've been learning from you, I went and applied and got approved. Should I take it? I like, do you have a way to service the debt? She said, yes. I was like, go get the bank money. All right. So definitely. Can a new LLC get a business line of credit? No. No. No, no, no. What is the easiest way to begin wholesaling? Eye Candy Lash. Sign up with my brother King Isaac over at the J. Morrison Academy. 25 years old. Did a little under $1 million in real estate revenue by wholesaling. So I would go and sign up with King Isaac. At least get a consultation with the King, and he'll get you right. How many rounds does Easy Funding provide, and how does it between the different rounds? I'm not sure what the DM means. We can get you as many rounds as we can within 12 months. The sooner you clean up your inquiries, the faster you can go back. Can you show me how to get my nonprofit value, or do I have to do fundraising? No, I mean, you can definitely do fundraising, but you can also get your nonprofit funded. Remember, it's an LLC or a corporation, so it's still the same. Is Easy Funding still under RBC for $9.97? I believe so. So act fast before they change it. A way or means to pay the debt. Is it good to dispute my current addresses that's linked to negative accounts? Absolutely. Your current address. Man, you don't want to dispute your current address, because then it'll make it harder for banks to verify who you are. How can I combat re-aging student loan debt? Isn't that illegal practices? It is supposed to be, but it depends on if you are actually delinquent. Remember, if you are delinquent, they can continue to re-report that information. So you probably want to definitely dispute the entire account. Is your credit repair a one-time fee? Yes, we only do a one-time fee. Does cash advances affect your credit score? No, but it will affect your pocket, because that interest rate and the premium on the interest rate. Why doesn't an LLC help you get business credit cards? Because LLC is just the person. It's just the structure. You still got to show the banks you're credit worthy. I mean, would you let somebody borrow money just because they're a human being? No, you want to find out, do they pay their bills? Do they steal from people? I mean, it's so many different variables. What are the low risk industries to get funding? You can go to Google and type in high risk and low risk industries for funding. That's right. Yeah, your LLC is just a straw man. How much is your credit repair? It depends. Reach out to us and we can have the team do a quote for you. Can SCorps get business lines of credit? Yes, my parent company is an SCorp. So yes, they can. How to leverage a rental home to pay mortgage down over time to sell and pocket equity plus cash without paying interest that comes with a normal 30-year. All right, Jordale, you need to book a consultation. All right. Thank you. That's what I wanted to know. Does Easy Funding deal with hard inquiries between rounds? Yes, we do charge a fee for the inquiries, but we will help you get that off. So the credit card will be still attached to a guarantor even though it's through the business. Yes, every bank will make you fill out a personal guarantor because they got to hold somebody reliable. What percentage should be kept on credit cards? 30% or less. Now, if you're trying to, if you have a strategy and you have other things going on, and I mean, you can pull as much as you want on a card. Just understand that your credit usage can and will be impacted depending on how much money you pull off. Does it matter the industry for the SCorp? Yes, remember, real estate and different things like that. Yeah, 10% is ideal, but yeah, you can still go up to 30%. Some banks will allow you to do with business lines of credit as high as 50%. So yes. I need funding for a 501c3. Never ever use credit or a loan. Yeah, start using the bank's money. Let me see. How do you remove business credit inquiries? Banks don't even look at credit inquiries on a business. All right. They don't look at the credit inquiries on a business. How can you show activity on a business account while waiting for funding? Go use it. Use the bank account. And I'm assuming it's for the bank account. Can you get business funding for a business outside of the U.S.? That I'm not sure. If you're a company, if you have a I-10 number, I think so. After 12 months in easy funding, can reinvest for another 12 months. King Derek, yes you can. Will, are trade lines a separate cost from buying easy funding? Yes, trade lines are separate. How soon can you get hard inquiries removed? We always say an average of 30 to 45 days because we also can get them, we also dispute them on open accounts. We're one of the few that can help you get them removed from open accounts. All right. Sorry, JMA page. I don't know what is going on here. All right. I need 100 units pronto, King. Well, hope you got the capital because that's all you need to get it. All right. Let me see what else. Have a lot of late payments on an account. Should I close the account and keep paying? Good question. So you can definitely dispute the entire account and close it, but you want to make sure that it is not your oldest account. But if you got a lot of lates on there, then I probably would just close it. So it really depends on the account and how old it is. All right, I have 18 inquiries and we management has removed 7 of them so far in less than 30 days. Once we get them off and the bankruptcy, that will dive into easy funding. Looking forward to working with you, Clarence. Definitely. On disputing the account, close them. No, only if you don't have the proper strategies. All right. All right. Does it matter the industry of the SCorp? Question: difference between SCorp versus LLC. That really depends on your tax. Write that down. It really depends on your tax liability. How much is the easy funding fee for each funding round? You pay for easy funding and we work with you for up to 12 months. Does your LLC have to be 2 years to get easy funding? No, only to get business lines of credit. How much capital is good to have for his 100 unit? Good question. It depends on how much the 100 unit is. You know, I mean, just know that when you're trying to buy a building or a commercial property, your down payment is at least 20%. And then, of course, you got to have closing costs. You got to have your inspection fee for inspections. I don't know if it's going to cost you rehab. So it really is going to depend. So those are all of the things that you can figure out and factor in. And then understanding what your carrying cost is going to be. See, that's another thing a lot of investors forget to incorporate when they're doing their breakdown is they don't calculate their carrying costs. All right. What strategy should I use seeing that I charge my cards up to get my credit score back up? You could look at getting a personal loan possibly to pay that down. That's one of the strategies that some people do. Any other good books you recommend to read? Trying to get educated, King. Mr. Q Parker, depends on the industry or what you're trying to get more abreast to. Yeah, them carrying costs will creep up on you. That's actually the number one reason why a lot of people deals fall through because they don't factor in their carrying costs. Oh, okay. The difference between the SCorp and the LLC is going to be dependent on your tax liability. So I always recommend to get with your tax specialist first to discuss that. All right. What is the carrying cost? Your carrying cost is the amount of money it's going to cost you to service the debt on the money that you are borrowing. So if I'm using my easy funding, it's going to cost me money to use it. So I have to factor that in when I'm figuring out what my ROI is on the deal or the property or whatever it is I'm investing in. Which is why I say we need to be educated, because you go and do a deal and be like, oh damn, I didn't factor in my carrying costs, and next thing you know, you in the hole and you're the hard money lender come and take the property. So, you know, we need to factor those things in. All right, looks like we got 1 minute left. Is there anything that will prevent certain inquiries from being removed during a round of inquiry removal? No, but I always tell people we typically leave a few on just to make the file look seasoned. But, you know, we generally go for about 97% of the inquiries and get those off on open and closed accounts. All right, so I got 29 seconds, family. So I appreciate y'all. If you have not gone to YouTube, Mr. Will Roundtree, and subscribe to my channel, make sure you do so. Again, for all your easy funding needs, go to useeasyfunding.com. And I will see you guys next week, Wednesday, Q&A Wednesday. Make sure you tune in, Mr. Will Roundtree page. I appreciate y'all. I've been rocking out with y'all this entire hour.